Okay.
You all probably have heard about the story at Howard University with students really filing complaints, and it's been all over the news. Students are complaining about roaches, mice, you know, the water conditions, mold. And the angle that I want to take is not to necessarily is to talk about what's going on at Howard, but to look at how this may impact all HBCUs versus our PWIs, you know, and having attended a PWI for undergrad, you know, of course I went to DC public schools. There's some issues that we never dealt with, but when I see this going on with these kids, they're paying. Howard has not listed its tuition. I've been trying to find the exact amount. It has to be $40,000 to $50,000 a year, easy. Yeah. And so when you look at they're paying this type, but yet still they're dealing with mold and mice,
That's
you know,
unacceptable.
and just really these housing conditions are, you know, it's unacceptable for anybody, but much less for our students. So just want to get your take on what it's like and your thoughts on this. And Chloe, with you, you know, having. I'm not sure whether you went to a HBCU or PWI. And Thomas, just to get your feedback on your thoughts on this, because students really feel like they have no support right now. Yeah. And the administration is not coming in, because this should be a no-brainer, really, in my opinion.
I would say that's my biggest problem, aside from the fact that they're roaches, and I can't even,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know how I would survive. Like, I never experienced that at a PWI. I'm not saying PWIs are better than HBCUs. I'm not trying to have that argument right now, but that is just... It's disgusting. I don't even know as a female how I would relate to that. But my problem is that the students are being silenced. And so I've seen a lot of things on social media, in the shade room too, about how students are giving their opinions. They're trying to do walkouts. They're trying to protest, and they're getting in trouble. And so I think I also saw on social media that they were trying to have, I think it was the Deltas or somebody were trying to have like some type of prep rally. And the administration came out and basically said that they could be suspended or expelled from Howard for doing that. And I'm like, why are you shutting down the students for them voicing their opinions or concerns about living in unhealthy housing situations? Like, that to me is absolutely ridiculous.
I mean, Howard University sounds like a very large slumlord in DC right now.
Oh my goodness! I think you're gonna have some bisons and.
I ain't worried about them bisons. I ain't worried about that. You got roaches. You probably got fleas and everything.
Oh no!
It's coming strong, Tom.
Like that. I mean, the fact of the matter is that these are horrible living conditions for anybody. I don't care if you live in a project. For you to have those types of living conditions and your landlord is not doing anything about that, they're not sending out anyone for pest control, and they're not trying to change it, and then they're silencing you for talking about it. I mean, this is trifling. This is trifling. There's no other way to explain it. This makes no sense that you spend all that money. I mean, I don't know about y'all, but college is expensive for a lot of kids. And some of these kids, for them to go to a university that has as much prestige as Howard University. I mean, when you say it, you got to say it different. Howard University.
The real
if
HU.
I say HU, people like HU, all of that stuff.
What's the real HU though, Thomas?
But you got roaches.
Yeah, you got roaches.
I gotta pluck the
Here comes Mr. Hampton. Here comes Mr. Hampton.
Pluck the roach off the H.
If I could just come in here for a second, please. It's Heath Wiggins again. Yeah, I didn't go to Howard University. I mean, you know, when you can't get into Hampton, you have to go somewhere.
Oh, so my goodness.
I guess going
the real
to
HU, right?
Howard is an acceptable. I mean, my wife went to Howard, so it's not that bad. But I'll say this, to ally with HBCUs, when I was in school, we didn't have roaches or rat issues. I mean, that's a Howard thing. But we had other issues about the cleanliness of the campus. And not the campus, but the cleanliness of the dorms, and the bathroom stalls in the dormitory were all tattered and torn. And it's like the campus looks beautiful. They had landscapers out there making the campus look beautiful, but then you go into the dorms, especially the older ones, and we stayed in Pierce Hall. Shout out to third floor Pierce Hall. We stayed in Pierce Hall, and I mean, we didn't have a bathroom on the floor. I mean, we had to go down to the second floor, the first floor, to use the bathroom, and those bathrooms were all torn apart. So we complained, and nobody did anything until one day I think some of us, I'm not going to say who, had been drinking a little bit. And we were like, you know what? We're going to force them to clean up this bathroom. So we broke all, I'm sorry, not we. Someone broke all the stalls in the bathroom. And then we threw them out the second floor door right in the lawn. So it's like, okay, the buildings and maintenance, they want this lawn to look pretty. They're going to see these bathroom stalls on the floor and on the ground outside. And so, like, the next morning, somebody came up and got them, and then we had new stalls. So we were like, now we see what we need to do.
New stalls, but dirty floors.
I'm not going to say anything about that. I mean, there wasn't roaches like at Howard. But, I mean, you know, shout out all HBCUs matter.
But
yes,
I want to know if it's a
Hampton.
financial issue of HBCUs or if it's where they're located. And I say all that to say that there are a lot of HBCUs that are in I guess where they're located at, they're not necessarily upper class sort of areas such as, I'm not going to say that.
I wouldn't call that surrounding area where Howard is. I could say it's hood adjacent,
but that's why I'm not trying to say that it's the hood. I'm just saying that it's not necessarily an upper class. Like you have George Washington University. I don't think you're going to see rats running around George Washington, but it's also because of, not in the dorms, it's also because of where they're sitting and how that area in DC is taken care of. And so I'm not saying that there shouldn't be blame placed on Howard, but I think we also need to look at that and also their funding, because I went to University of Maryland for a volleyball camp when I was in high school, and their dorms didn't have air conditioning. Now, they didn't have mice and roaches, but there were units that we were staying in rooms that did not have any air conditioning. And that's Maryland is pretty well funded. So again, is it a funding issue? Is it because of where Howard is located or where HBCUs are located? I'm just saying, I'm trying to, in my brain, come to the conclusion that it's not just the fact that administration is ignoring these students. Maybe there's other issues that can be a cause of this. I'm just trying to say, not saying that it's okay that they're ignoring them, but the fact that they're infested with mice and roaches is not just because of neglect necessarily, but also because of where they're located, as opposed to where other PWIs or other schools are located.
Well, you know what? That's almost like saying, Chloe, if I have an apartment and I'm in what the city would technically call the hood, that I should automatically expect my apartment to be infested with rats and roaches. That may not be the case. I know plenty of people who have lived.
It's
in
not
some
saying
bad areas.
you would, but there may be a higher probability.
It's a higher probability, but as an administrator, I can do what I can. I have to.
Correct.
It's my responsibility to take care of my students. These are basic health issues. If you got mold, mice carry diseases. I mean, roaches infest. You gotta. That's basic stuff.
That's true.
You know it. Do something.
And I'm not against administration doing anything. I'm just saying there could be something that's adding to the problem.
Well, I think you're tapping into something larger, that this falls right back to management, because I'm sure the president of the university, he's getting paid. The teachers, professors are getting paid. I think it falls down to a matter of management, and funding, a combination of both, because the funds should be there. Yes. And if not, you need to get on the horn with all the alum and say, look, we need to raise funds and find a way to get those students taken care of, because the flip side of the issue is lawsuits. Because if my child is there and develops some type, I guarantee you some lawsuits are going to come out of that. So what's smarter to, like what Thomas and both of you are saying, they need to get on board and make something happen to make sure these students who are paying $50 plus a year and don't have to live in these unsanitary conditions. And here's the other thing. What about the governing, like DCRA, like DC's governing authority? Aren't they responsible for making sure that, housing conditions, are okay, even though Howard University is independent, it's still located in the District of Columbia?
Yes.
Someone with governing authorities as well is going to put pressure on the university to make something happen.
I just want you to picture just one thing. If I got roaches and rats in my dorm, what are those cafeterias looking like?
Nasty. Just absolutely nasty.
If I'm over here trying to get a fork and I got pluck.
Yeah. No.
Jump.
Yeah.
Do you understand? There's a lot of table flipping going on in cafeterias. Man, I'm itching because why you do this now, Dave?
Well, you know, we care about the students. That's what it is.
And we do.
Yeah.
But I need the administration to show that they care about somebody beside their own pockets.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have funding to at least get some pest control out, do something preventative, and try to clear up the mold and stuff like that, then that money's going somewhere.
And my other thought is, what are you telling the parents? So parents are seeing this on the news. Parents are hearing their cries from their children. You're just going to continue to ignore that? And to your point, I feel like there's going to be a lot of lawsuits. But I'm sorry, I don't have any kids, but I feel like if I did have kids, I would be down in D.C. busting some doors open, up in some administrative person's office saying something. Like, I wouldn't just sit back and I'm surprised there's not anything on the news of parents like busting through doors and etc. Like,
My
that
baby
is
got
just
bites on him from the roaches.
I hope not.
I got mice in his book bag and everything.
Not the book bag.
I'm telling you right now, somebody's mama need to be there with the rollers and the little moo-moo.
Why she gotta have rollers in her hair?
Because that woman gets stuff
shower
done.
cap.
That
shower
mama
cap.
gets stuff done.
My
And
mama
the
ain't never
shower
had
cap.
rollers in her hair walking outside, and she got stuff done too.
Yeah.
See,
And
Just
you know,
saying.
sound like go ahead.
and I tell you just,
But yeah, that's nasty.
And
I'm
one,
sorry.
one final thing I'll say on is just the authoritarian response from the university, threatening to suspend students for raising, a concern or an alarm about a very real and threatening situation. I thought that was very inappropriate. And to your point about parents, I would feel better if the president of the university would say, look, we've acknowledged the problem, and this is what we're doing to address the problem, and then discuss steps and stages. I haven't heard that conversation yet.
9 times out of 10, you won't. If I can stop you from even bringing it up, we're not talking about what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm not offering you anything. And I think that's sad. I think more students are going to have to get suspended because you're just going to have to continue to put it out there.
Wow.
And I would think just having Kamala Harris as your vice president, you would not want to show up in the news having her as a, spokesperson or a top tier alumni. But my thought is that I feel like they should have got out ahead of the story. And you hear about that a lot in PR, that you can get out ahead as opposed to letting the students have all these riots and et cetera. So there should have been some type of conversation, press conference, something that the university is stepping out to apologize, maybe not take blame, because from a business perspective, maybe you don't want to admit your fault, but you do want to apologize for the things that are happening to the students.
They need you, Chloe.
I mean, they do need to, but I'm just saying in terms of PR, some people don't like to take blame, but there does need to be some type of apology statement and something saying what they're doing to help the students out. And I think that's where Howard has definitely missed the mark, because they haven't, to my knowledge, again, I don't necessarily follow Howard on social and the news, but they need to put out some type of statement. They can't just ignore all of this and just let the students be the voice of the university.
Question, Dave. How far back do these complaints go?
Oh, my God. I know this one is current, but I would imagine, to Heath's point, that Howard has had problems for years. A lot of, my brother went to North Carolina A&T. I used to go down and stay with him, and they even had issues in terms of, dilapidated, bathrooms and hallways. So I like to believe that this goes back a while, but I don't have that as a fact. I don't know it as a fact.
I mean, honestly, just a PR spin. All those kids that were gone home due to COVID, I mean, blame something on COVID. We kind of lost track of things. We need to get stuff back in order.
But isn't that the most ethical response?
I'm not saying that it's ethical, but it's a response. When so far your response is you're suspended.
Right.
Yeah, it's not a good look.
Come on. You could say something. But, I mean, it's not going to be anything till they trying to give a press conference and the rat run across the stage.
Oh, my goodness.
If that happens, then that's on you. But it's on you. You didn't say nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's disgusting.
HU, make it right, Howard.
Yes,
yeah, that's what we want you to do. And all the other schools out there, make it right for our students, especially our HBCUs,
Yes,
that's important, And we know sometimes it's funding, that's to Chloe, to your point. But I think Howard University needs you, Chloe.
They need me.
They need you,
I do
some
have
things
some
moving.
PR services if anyone wants to hire
I
me.
need Chloe.
But we going
Chloe.communications, look it up. Chloe.communications, LLC. I'm just putting it out there.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
All right, Dave, go ahead and close this out, man.
You know, it's been great. We want to thank everyone for watching us, and we want you all to know how to get in contact with us because, look, these dynamic personalities here. Chloe, let the folks know how to get in contact with you.
Well, you can get in contact with me by following me on Instagram at chloe.communications.
All right. How about you, Thomas?
All right, you can follow me on Instagram under Mr. Does It Really Matter?
Yeah, and it does matter. And me, D-Bonner Ministries, you know, follow me out there. And look, Elevation Global, you got to follow Elevation Global. And look, we'll look to see you next time. And we certainly know Angel B is going to be here, Natasha. So,
yes.
Yeah, until our next episode, hey, thanks for joining. We'll be back at you soon.
All right. Don't forget, leave it in the comments.
Yes.
Leave it in the comments.
If it's something you want to see, episodes you want to hear, you know, leave it in the comments. And, hey, we'll make it happen. Peace.